Welcome to episode 19 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel. My guest at this time, let me just say, is not only a Power Ranger legend, but she is also a very multiversatile, actress. You may know her from Power Rangers Ninja Storm as Capri. If you watch the Xena and Hercules series, you'll know her from 5 different roles. She's played Hayla, she played Delassa, she played Suri, she played Mandela, and she played, I believe the pronunciation was Cyan, who was queen of the Telequire Amazon tribe, and a person that not only do I have the utmost respect for ever, but a person I'm very proud and honored to call my friend. My guest at this time is Miss Katrina Capri Browne. Katrina, how are you today?
I am so well, thank you for that lovely introduction.
Anytime, and right now I'm in full Capri mode because Capri's colors were always purple. I gotta show my support.
I love it.
Thank you. Well, one of the first questions I have, Kat, is, and this is gonna be a typical cliche question, but how did you get started in acting? Take me there.
How did I get started? My dad was in a band, so I was quite used to being around performance. I got brought up with him being a performer. But yeah, when I left high school, I went straight to drum school, trained for a couple of years, and was really lucky to go straight into a full-time role on a television series called City Life. So that was how it started, and I was really fortunate in that way. But yeah.
Very cool. And before I get into the Ninja Storm question, though, because I'm a huge Ninja Storm fan. Like, not to make a movie reference, but I was 13 when Ninja Storms came out, and now I'm 30, so it's like 13 going on 30. And but I do want to talk to you about the Hercules and Xena series, though. As I mentioned earlier, what was it like doing both series, both franchises?
So that was Herc and Xena, done by Pacific Renaissance. Incredible film company to work for. So much fun, and it was, I actually really love, I've done a fair bit of fantasy stuff, as in Power Rangers, Hercules, Xena. I did a English television series where I played Catwoman, and I really love these fantastical characters with superpowers and super strength. And it was my first experience of working with Americans, Herc and Xena. I think that might have been my second role I ever did, was as Hercules, was Suri, I think. Incredible people. Kevin Sorbo was so clever to work with, and Lucy Lawless was amazing. And it was cool because it was the first introduction I had to fight scenes, stunt work, which I love. So.
Cool. And I remember in the Xena episode where you played Delassa. One of my, like 2 favorite characters of mine that you played were always going to be Delassa for the Xena series, and Hayla for the Hercules series. But with Delassa, though, I love the episode where it was basically it was a comeuppance episode where Xena had Delassa tied up, and when she later went to jail, she wind up encountering Delassa, and that's when you did the infamous, you had the hood over your head, and then and then you tell Xena, "Remember me?" and then you show the prosthetic arm.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a great shoot. I actually had to do, I'm trying to remember it back, I haven't watched that for years. But I actually was in a tidal pool that they'd made a pool inside on the set, and I had a meet and greet with these crabs. So they were big paddle crabs. They're quite large crabs. Had a meet and greet with them, and they'd said, look, is this, just to make sure I was comfortable with having crabs crawling all over my body, and it was fine. And but I didn't actually realize, so what they'd done with the crabs, they'd glued the pinches of the hero, the big ones, so that they wouldn't bite me. But the glue was water soluble, so after 40 minutes in this tidal pool on set, the glue came undone. So I was covered in bites, and the screams and everything when I tied down are real. Covered in bites, scratches. I was a total mess. It was very funny.
I do want to talk about some other characters that you did in the Hercules Xena franchise. What were your memories playing Mandela?
Yeah, I was actually really sick when I was doing that Mandela role. Love the people that I worked with. Might have been based overseas at that point, and I'd come back specifically just for that. Quickly flew in, did it, and exited pretty quickly. But I loved playing Cyan, the Queen of the Amazons, against Ryan Gosling. That was pretty amazing. He's a very lovely guy. He was back then. He was straight out of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse at that point, and yeah, that was a blast. Young Hercules was a blast.
You mentioned Young Hercules, so I will say one episode to this day, like when I was younger, like there was stuff that, you know, like whenever I see the good guys as a kid growing up, seeing the good guys always like, you know, like the bad guys getting the upper hand, I would always get like, it would struck fear me. And this Hercules episode, Wicked Good Times, is a perfect example of that, because you see that the character that you played, which was Hela, she was a most diabolical, powerful witch who framed Hercules, like pretend like, because I remember to this day her screaming, "Hercules is a warlord! Hercules is a warlord!" And you framed him, and it was like the perfect crime. It was like that Hela is the type of villain in which, you know, like she's clever, plotted, methodical, and especially that the fact that she took Discord. Did I say it correctly? Discord. I think that was one
Discord. Yes, yeah,
yes,
that's
Discord.
Negan. Yeah, Discord.
And she demanded for Hela to stop. And what do? You turn her into a square. Like, don't be such a square, and then you turn her into a square.
Yeah. Yes.
And I remember like there was also like the fact that Hela had so many great quick wits too. Like when Hercules rejected her advances, like he said,
I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot barge pole. Yeah, I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot. Yeah, I love that. That was cool. That's great.
I love that delivery. And then I love the delivery when you said, "Be careful what you wish for, Hercules, because I might use your words against you."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was a great episode. It was the second to last episode of Hercules ever, I think. Yeah, it was the second to last one. So the whole franchise was wrapping up. So yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Definitely, that episode struck fear in me to see Hercules, you know, like defenseless, like in jail, like, and this powerful Hela, just she had so much like, you know, power to, like, you know, make him look like the bad guy, and then she became more powerful. And this is why, you know, much like Amy Roll with Chiquino, like I'm going to use the Jafar analogy because you've seen Aladdin, right?
Yes.
I could say that Hela is very much like Jafar in that aspect, because in the sequel Return of Jafar, Jafar frames Aladdin to try to get him executed, which is what Hela did. She framed Hercules to get him executed. And then at the very end, where she summons the spirits, like with the big book. I remember you had the big book in your hand.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then you became like almost immortal, like where you summoned the gods. You said, "I use my body as a vessel for you to possess me and make me all powerful and almighty."
Yeah, I remember it so well.
But definitely, like, I love the Hercules and Xena series. Big fan. I'm a huge fan of Lucy Lawless. I love Hercules, like the series in general. I do want to talk about, before we get into, you know, Ninja Storm, and that's gonna be the plan. You know, I love talking about Hercules and Xena, but I'll definitely have even more fun talking about Ninja Storm, because as a kid and having a cousin we were pretty much like the young male versions of Myra and Capri. But I do want to talk about your time on Shortland Street.
Yeah, I did Shortland Street too. So Shortland Street is New Zealand's weeknight drama, you know, 7 o'clock. I'm not quite sure what you guys have, that's the equivalent, but it's been going for, I don't even know how long, 20 something years, long running episodic television. Loads of fun. Again, I was playing a bad guy. There's typecasting going on. I was playing a bad girl, so it's a set in a hospital, and it's a hospital drama. But I was a bad person who was involved in drugs and things. I ended up going to jail, and then I got beaten up in jail, and then they sent me back to Shortland Street Hospital, where the guy who runs the hospital operated on my face, and we fell in love. So it went on for quite some time. I think it's a really great show. It was, at the time when I was doing it, the fastest turnaround television in the world. They shoot an episode a day, whereas on Power Rangers or Hercules, you'd shoot an episode of Hercules in 10 to 14 days. We shoot an episode a day in Shortland Street. So the turnaround is so fast, it's multi-camera, it's really dynamic, and you have to be well on your toes to keep up with it.
I see. And now before I get into the Power Rangers question, I just have one last Hercules-related question. Is it Cyan or like the...
Cyan.
Cyan, wasn't she like a love interest to Hercules? Like I think in one episode they actually shared a kiss, like, and nothing came about it. Did you think like storyline purpose that something should have came about it?
I was just really happy that I got to kiss Ryan Gosling. So that's not a bad thing, right? Right. Yeah, look, he had his character had several love interests woven through the show, so it was just one of the many women for young Hercules.
I see. Now I want to talk about definitely one of my favorite roles you did, and that is Capri in Power Rangers Ninja Storm. And again, thank you so much for the autograph, though. It's such a pleasure and honor.
You're so welcome.
My question, well, before I get to the actual like episode questions, I do want to ask, like, what was the audition like for Ninja Storm? Take me there.
Okay, so can't actually remember doing my first audition, but I remember when I got my recall, and so they recalled me back with Katrina, and the producers were there from the States. That come down from Disney, Doug, Sloan, and they'd come down, and they put Katrina and I in the room together, and they said, okay, you're Mari, you're Capri, go for it, have fun. And I'd been feeling really unwell. I'd not been feeling great. And I was sort of thinking, look, just get this over and done with, maybe go to the doctors afterwards. So Katrina and I did this really, we had a great audition, we had great fun. I knew Katrina from Shortland Street, but didn't really know her that well, but I knew who she was. And we get on brilliantly. So it was loads of fun. And then they seemed really, really happy in the room with what we were doing. And I was like, okay, this could be a thing. But then I was like, I actually have to go. And I left because I was feeling so unwell, and I drove straight to the hospital, and I was in hospital for 3 days with a kidney infection. So I was so sick at my audition, it wasn't funny. Yeah, so it was nice. I actually found out while I was still in hospital that I got the role. So.
Oh, okay. And before I get to the episode question about the episodes, let me just say, at the risk of sounding like Myra Capri, or at the risk of sounding like a Valley Boy, but it was like so awesome seeing you like perform like as Myra Capri. Like you and Kat Devine have such great chemistry. You, Kat, and Grant McFarlane, you guys, the trio. But you guys are like so awesome, like, doing that role. Again, not this, I mean, at the risk of sound like a Valley Boy or Myra Capri.
Totally awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of my favorite episodes, I mentioned before, like, to you, Snippet Good is one of my favorite because it features it shows that Myra Capri may be a comical relief thing. Yeah, a comical relief villain. Yes, but don't underestimate like their comic reliefs. They're just as powerful as any other villain, and that fight proved it though. Like we've seen Capri have ice breath. She has a phenomenal arsenal. She could change sizes. She could throw orbs of power at the Rangers, or that's how she destroyed Shimatsu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not undervalued, but just because they were so comical, but they could actually still put up a really good fight.
Absolutely, and I say this because like much like Amy Roll with how she played Trakina, you and Katrina Devine, I could say that you guys are like, as far as villains, you guys are like Tim Curry and the late great Phil Hartman, because you show that you can be comedic, but you can also be a villain, like that seedy villain, like that one that that people are just like like it was so cool. Like, and some episodes like that prove that. Well, of course, Snippet Good, like when you deliver that oh so line when you and Kat try to one up each other on destroying Tori, Sally in that episode. And then you're like, please, flying is so passe. Let's talk size. Boom. And then that's when you did that infamous, that famous, how about a big hand for the little ranger? Like, can you tell me how that scene was done?
How about a big hand for the little ranger? So what is this? What one were you talking about?
like the way like how it was done, like you have Tori right here, and then you see her trying to like combat her like at giant size proportions.
Yeah, right. There was so much. What I love about Power Rangers is because when we shot it was well before all the amazing, clever computer stuff that they do now, and all the CGI stuff that they do now. So the tricks were pretty simple and basic, but they kind of still worked and were really convincing. So there was a lot of split screen stuff and jumping in and out of things, and a lot of green screen and pretending that something was there when it wasn't there. And yeah, it was a very cool show with a really hard-working. Kiwis are really well known for being, the Kiwi crews are well known for just pitching in and being really innovative, and I think it showed in the show.
I agree. Did you have a favorite Myra Capri moment like throughout your series in Ninja Storm?
I got just so many. Katrina and I just became the best of friends during that show. So it was an absolute pleasure to go to work every day with Kat. So we're both called Katrina, obviously. And so then on set on the first day, they were like, okay, so we're going to call you by your middle names because we can't just call you both Katrina. And I said, okay, she goes, mine's Marie. And I went, mine is also Marie. So our names are both actually Katrina Marie. We even have the same second name. So we are so close. But favorite scenes, I loved, both of us really loved, I love Lothar. We loved that episode. We had a lot of fun with that. We also had a brilliant day. I remember having such a brilliant time when we were the hippies. And we're singing.
We were good.
Yeah, when we were good, but we had so much fun in that. Yeah, it was good fun. Every moment on set with her was awesome.
Like you said it, like those two episodes, those are two of my favorite episodes too, because it's so fun to see Lothar try and like to have like a humor side, because Myra and Capri were always like the comedic ones, but like, you know, Lothar, like how Grant portrayed that character was like more serious. He was like, what's this nonsense? Like, you know, he's like the typical, not typical, but he was always like the villain that, you know, no nonsense type thing. And you two
Yes.
were the comic, like definitely the comic geniuses. Like you and Kat are comic geniuses. Like how you both portray like the characters. Like I remember like you've done it all, like both of you. You've done talent shows where like I remember when you were on Totally Talented.
That's right. I want to be your space girl, the Space Ninja song.
Oh, that was so funny. There was that one. There was the high school reunion where you were like, you know, like you and Myra were saying to Lothar, but we want to have our, you know, high school reunion.
Reunions. Yeah.
And then it's like,
with so much.
I'm sorry?
You go. No, you go.
I was like, and like, look what those Rangers did. They ruined our first thing. Now what do we do? And then you wind up having the reunion on the ship.
Yeah. We got so much fun with Myra and Capri because we weren't just Myra and Capri villains. We would obviously always go into disguise, and we got to be Irish dancers and businesswomen, and a different disguise. I always just love getting the scripts and going, how many characters am I going to play this episode? And we just didn't play ourselves. We were constantly playing, you know, all these other characters too, or ourselves in other roles in disguise. All the time when I was dressed like Granny, or yeah, so much fun. Schoolgirls.
I remember like when like I remember the Granny one always because that was the episode tongue in cheek, and that was the one episode I was always afraid of. Like I would literally not watch that, like because I was so afraid. Like what happened to Blake and Hunter? What happened with Slob Goblin when he turned them into stands? Like that scene always scared me as a kid. And also, and I loved how like when you dressed up as the Granny with the nose, and I found it funny. Like they turned like the whole like Little Red Riding Hood thing where it was like, why Granny, what big eyes you have, like that type of thing. Like, but it went into a dark twist. Like it's like just like Blake and Hunter are saying that, and then sooner or later Slob Goblin turns them all into stamps.
Yeah.
It had a nice cool dark twist to it. And another episode like I definitely loved. I think it was the one where Chubu, another one of comic relief, Chubu.
I love Chubu. Yeah.
And I remember Lothar shrunk him down, and that's when Myra was basically doing like the cute like pet thing, and then you were like, why does Uncle always let you have the pets? But then again, always then you're like, but then again, Uncle's always Uncle Lothar always allowed you to have the pets and not me, like that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
that was
I
cool.
thought it was funny, and like I said, another thing you could put on Capri's accolades is that she is a true master of disguise.
Yes.
I remember, and I think this was, I don't know if this was Snippet or Snippet Good, but it was the episode where like you trick Sally, and then you made a duplicate of her, like an evil duplicate of her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But then, I think it was when you trapped her in the camera.
Oh, that's right. That was actually the first scene that we shot. When she was that, are you talking about the one where we're at the beach and we're taking photographs there? Yeah, is that the one where we're like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the very, very first scene that Katrina and I ever shot on Power Rangers.
Very cool, and then I like, you know, like when you had the high school reunion, and then one of the girls at the party goes, "Oh, he's very handsome," and you're like. And then I Love Lothar. It was the same thing though, where you had to give Lothar a kiss on the cheek, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. It was like cool seeing like, you know, Katrina Browne with the 1950s style hairstyle, and then you had the mohawk, the pig mohawk.
I had the mohawk, and I was edgy and yeah, punk rock. It was cool.
What was it like doing the episode like we mentioned before, where like it was a parallel universe where Lothar, Zurgane, Chubu, Shimatsu, Myra, Capri, they were all heroes, but the Power Rangers were actually the main villains?
We had loads of fun doing that. We actually all really enjoyed doing that. I think that I love playing Capri because she was, you know, this comic relief as well as being a villain. But actually, switching things around, and I know that all the five Power Rangers, or 7, 5, adored going evil. They just loved it. I think they were sick of being good the entire time. So I think they actually had more fun than we did.
That was my next question I was going to ask too. Like, if you preferred playing the protagonist or the antagonist, because like to me, I always thought playing the. I mean, like if I were to do an acting role, I think being the villain is way too much fun.
I play the villain any day, every day, by choice. That's what I would prefer to play. Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, like the villain character that you played in Capri, like it's so cool, like how a contrast it is with, like we mentioned earlier, with Hala. Like Hala is like a dark, serious, you know, witch, and then you have Capri, who is evil, like who's villain, but she has more character. Like she has her own style. She has, you know, flash, like, you know, swagger. Like the fact that like she wants to look good when she destroys you type persona.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. I think with Hala, it was a little bit more. Hercules has an older audience. I know that there's people of all age watch Power Rangers as well, but when they script it, there's nothing intimate or sexual in Power Rangers. It's all very, you know, it's a kids show. Mm-hmm. Whereas Hercules, they really played the manipulation side of Hala using her feminine wiles against Hercules, or at least trying to, which is not what we were doing in Power Rangers, that's for sure.
I see. And in that episode where the last I got the crabs, I was, you know, like they say, Xena was basically the protagonist, but I found myself actually wanting Xena to get her comeuppance after what she did to Delastic by tying her up with the sharks. I mean, not with the sharks, with the crabs. Pardon me.
With the crabs. Yeah, no, I agree. But that was, you know, when Xena was bad and young and nasty. But yeah, I think she deserved to comeuppance too. But
I agree, and also with Hala, that episode's a prime example of, because remember, she was so hell-bent on getting revenge on Hercules after he rejected her advances. It's the saying, you know, hell have no fury like a woman scorned.
Like a woman scorned.
And Hala was definitely scorned to a point where she framed Hercules to execution levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't piss her off. She was a nasty little girl. Yeah.
I would say this, watching that episode when I was younger though, Kat, you really did scare the hell out of me when I was younger. That episode really did scare me when I was young, just to see, because when you're little, when you're young, you don't want to see the like the bad guy, you know, get the one up, like, you know, like the upper hand here. And I watched this when I was so young, this episode. Like, I was like, no, what's going to happen to Hercules? I guess I was kind of like Marty McFly when he found out I mean, you've seen Back to the Future, right?
Yes.
And Back to the Future 2, when Marty McFly found out Biff married his mom, I kind of let out that big no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, no, when I found out they sentenced Hercules to death. And then, you know, but yeah, but with the Capri though, like Capri is like definitely another example of like, I want to destroy you, but I want to look good destroying you, whether it's wearing a great dress or like, you know, I want to look, you know, it's like Hala didn't care what she was. She was just dark, you know, she wanted just destruction. With Capri, it was more like, yeah, I want to, you know, destroy this person, but I want to actually look really good when destroying this person.
Totally.
And that's why I laughed when the episode where you and Kat Devine, do I call you Kat or Katrina? Like, which do you prefer? Like, is it Kat or Katrina?
So I get Kat and she got Katrina.
Okay.
So yeah.
Where you and Katrina, you guys were holding hands and you doing dances, and like Lois was like, "What's all this about?" And like, we joined a new dance team, Uncle.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And the cool part about, you know, Ninja Storm is that we've had so many dynamics in Power Rangers franchise in general. I mean, Rita and Rito were brother and sister. Scorpius and Trakina were father and daughter. Rancic and Nadira were father and daughter. Not ever have we had uncle niece bond.
Yeah.
And not just any uncle and niece bond, Kat, but the fact that you like, it's like you want to make your uncle proud. Priya and Myra do their best to make their uncle proud, but at the same time they're like, oh, uncle, stop being a fuddy-duddy.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. It's like Myra Capri, it's like they want to make their uncle proud, but at the same time they're telling their uncle, oh, uncle, just stop being a fuddy-duddy and let us like have fun. And but like we could take over the world and we could destroy the Rangers, but can we also have fun too?
Have fun when we're doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
And like, did you have any memories on the last episode of Ninja Storm?
Of Ninja Storm as opposed to coming back. Yeah, look, we were all really sad. You become such a family on Power Rangers that you work really long hours. Power Rangers, you do long hours. And we were sad. None of us really wanted it to end. We were all having such a blast. There were loads of tears when we finished. Just loads of tears.
I was absolutely shocked that you didn't like, you know, go to Dino Thunder. Like Katrina went to Dino Thunders as Cassidy Cornell. I was hoping that if we're seeing, like, I remember seeing like Katrina Devine on Dino Thunders. I'm hoping myself, man, I hope that Kat is able to like get a role in Dino Thunder, whatever it is, because you know she's just great in anything she does.
It would have been cool. I actually went into another show, so it was yeah. But Katrina, they thought about it, whether or not they would people would want to see Katrina in another role so soon, and it went really well for us. So yeah. Oh,
okay. And like I asked this question to Sabrina Liu, who played Scorpina in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but like in certain shots, so like for instance, like when she's when she was in her human form, she was wearing normal attire, and then with the flick of her hand, she became Scorpina. There was a reverse of that in the Dino Thunder crossover episode where you and Katrina were wearing your ninja attire, and then when you rejoined forces with Lothar again, you were back to wearing the Myra Capri attires. How was that like done? Like you know the effects like the SFX, like the special effects on that one.
You know, I actually don't really remember. I just remember being like, we're going to shoot this, now you're going to get changed, and we're going to shoot you in that, and then they just make it all magic. To be fair, I was just going, okay, this is just the magic of cinema. I would love to be able to say how that was, just like cut screens, split screens, but I don't actually understand how it works. It's magic. It's magic.
It is magic. And I will say this too, another reason, I can name you like 1,000 reasons why Myra and Capri are underrated, not only as Power Ranger villains, but as regular villains in general. But one thing I loved about like Myra and Capri is that they were so like sharp-tongued. They were sharp as a tack, like quick-witted. Like I could see like if the Rangers like cornered Myra Capri and Lothar, I could see like Myra Capri basically saying, well, that's it. You know what? That's it. We're done. Think of great for all of us. We're done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think the characters weren't initially scripted, so babbly, chatty, quick-witted, but because that's how Katrina and I played together, we actually ended up writing loads of our own stuff. So that, or we'd get the script and they'd go, well, this is what we kind of think you guys can say, but can you just make it sound like how you guys do? So it wasn't actually even, and then we would just do our own thing with it, which was, you know, really fast, quick, lots of jibes and put downs, and the word "cha," which we said all the time, which I think, because the writers were like, what is this word? And we're like, it's "cha." And they're like, how do you spell it? So we're like, TCHA. And they said that a lot. So we did a lot of our own, adding our own little touches into the characters.
Absolutely. And like, you know, like when the Power Rangers come, and then Myra and Capri always still have something like, you know, cool and quick-witted to say, like, it's like, not you guys again. Like,
yeah,
it's like, it's so cool. Like, it's like when they do their typical, oh, not so fast, like bad guy thing. I was like, great, you guys.
Yeah, they're very cool characters.
I love the delivery of like how you and Katrina did that. And also like, I love the, it's like, great. It's like you like I mentioned a line before, like how Myra Capri, and this is another like, similarity with Myra Capri and Iago from Aladdin. Like Iago at one point was a villain, but he was like a sassy villain. Like he would like say like he was quick-witted. He was like, oh, look at this, I'm so ticked off, I'm molten. And then that's like that I can see like Myra Capri, like even when they turn good, they're still like they still have that quick wit about themselves. Like one of my favorite Capri lines will always be in the Dino Thunder Ninja Storm crossover episode, where after they were dragging Sensei to safety, she was like, you know, Sensei, you should really lay off the cookies with your afternoon tea.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, I remember that was good. That was a me line. That wasn't scripted. We did loads of that stuff.
I could see did you and Katrina do a lot of like ad-libbing though, like with the lines or no?
Mostly all ad-lib. Just almost all ad-lib. They would just let us do whatever we wanted. They were great.
And I was having a conversation with my friend, like he's a Power Ranger fan too, and we were talking about how Myra Capri, like, I mean, or you know, the actresses that played Myra Capri and Myra Capri in general are just comic geniuses. Like how they come up with this stuff is just incredible. It's like you can like show like the disdain like whenever Ranger shows up, or a disdain whenever Lothar says something that's not like, you know, your favor. It's like, you know, come on, Uncle, like can we just have a little fun? You know, I understand you want to take over the world. I want to take over the world too, but yeah, like like whether it's joining the dancing club, whether it's joining the talent show, which I think, you know, Myra Capri, I don't care like if they cheat or not, they definitely had my vote.
So we were cool, right? I want to be quite often at conventions somebody will say, can you sing that song? And I'm like, wow. I want to be your space girl in your face girl without a trace girl, ace girl. We had so much fun doing it. So much fun.
I love the episode too because I showed a lot of sympathy for Myra and Capri, because yes, I mean, I'm a guy that was usually supporting heroes when I was younger, but I actually showed sympathy for the bad guy. It's when that little brat kid, when you were selling, like, I think they were like spices or something, and he sprayed it at you guys. I was like, come on, you little brat.
Yeah, that was sweet. I was actually wearing, had a lisp in that scene. I had a lisp because they wanted her to have a lisp, because I had braces. I actually had proper molded braces to put on. So I always did all the things like that, and Katrina somehow managed to get away with not wearing braces or having a spider crawling all over her or being squirt in the face. But yeah, I did all that stuff.
That, and also I remember it was the monster. I gotta try to remember what the name of the monster was, where he showed fear on every, like, you know, the Power Rangers, even Myra and Capri. I think Myra's biggest fear was getting laughed at. That's why she was portrayed as a clown. Like they showed her in clown makeup, and then we got to see Capri's biggest fear, which were spiders and tarantulas. Well, I mean,
it was gross. Mara and Capri were both supposed to have the fear of spiders, but Katrina didn't want to do spiders. She's like, I actually hate spiders, and I'm not going to do it. so I just did that. But it was a closed set because of the nature of working with the spiders, and there was a spider wrangler. My makeup artist wouldn't even be on the set with me. She said, I hate spiders, so I'm so sorry. I would go off set out of the building to get my makeup finals done and come back on, because she refused to be in there. And I had these, I just had so they were the actual same spiders that they used in Arachnophobia. There are a New Zealand spider called the Avondale spider. They will bite you, but they have no poison.
Oh.
But they're quite big and they're not very nice. And at one point, the spider wrangler guy was like, "Cut, stop," because two of them had gone up on my shoulder and they were about to attack each other. And they were like here and here and attack. And I was going, it was awful. It was awful.
So wait, those were real spiders?
They're real spiders.
Wow. I don't know if they were animatronic or they were real. Like, to hear the fact that you're like, you're definitely a strong person, like, to go through the spiders. Like, I have I fear of spiders myself. Like, I am terrified of spiders. Like, I mean, it's just I commend you totally for doing that scene. Like, because it must have been like a very hard scene to do.
Well, I didn't have to pretend to be scared. There was no acting required. I was just like, ugh. It was gross. My skin was crawling. They just like, ugh. And at one stage, one sort of stepped over my eye like that. Oh, it was gross. And I could sort of big leg, yuck. Yeah, never again. Never again.
Did you have memories of doing the crossover episode with Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm?
Yeah, so I was in another show at that point, but I came back to do that. And because Ninja Storm was the first Power Ranger series that was shot in New Zealand, it kind of felt like such a good home base for me. But then all of a sudden to go back into a whole new group of people and it's their show, you have to kind of, you pass the baton on to them. And so it felt a little bit like, oh, I'm on their set, like I'm in the same studios, but completely different sets. And it felt odd. I mean, for Katrina, it was nothing because she'd been on the show anyway. She was on the show the whole time. So, yeah, that was when I met Tommy and I already knew Emma Lahana, who played the Yellow Ranger in that series, was a friend. She did Shortland Street and things as well, so we all knew her as well. So it was nice to know some people there, and it was lovely to be back. But I did feel like it wasn't my show anymore. It was, yeah. It's different when you come in as a minor character as opposed to being a major character.
What was it like seeing, like being back on the set with Katrina Devine?
It's a joy every time. So much fun. We had the best time.
I like even as good guys, like how like when you see Lothar for the first time, it's like, and then like where like you were so like shocked to see him, and then you were like, we got better now. We can totally kick butt now.
We can totally kick butt. Huh.
I was like, this, they never change, and that's why I love. It's still classic Myra Capri moments, and I always wanted to ask this question, like you remember the ending of that episode where you get to see Katrina Devine in both roles. You get where she's actually.
Oh yeah.
How do they do that though? Where like at one minute she's with you, and then the next minute she's with the actor that played Devin.
Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my phone.
Sure.
She it's just about to fall down on me. Yeah, so that's Tom Hearn, the actor who plays Devin. Yeah, that was a great. What you talking about, the scene where she goes, "She's so pretty," or does she? What does she say? You know what she says? I can't remember.
She goes, "Capri, isn't that girl just beautiful? Devin, did you see that girl? She's just beautiful, but I'm much prettier."
Yeah, but I'm prettier. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
How'd they do? Like, was it like where they had a stunt double? Like, whenever like she wasn't like, how'd they do that?
So sometimes they use stunt doubles, so just somebody in her costume. If you were seeing just like her hair or the side of her face and stuff like that, they did that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the gentleman that played Dustin, the gentleman's name is Glenn, right?
Glenn
Okay.
McMillan.
Okay. Because I know Sally, I know the late great Pua. Did I say that correctly?
Pua
Yeah.
Magasiva.
And also the late great Grant McFarlane, who I'm an absolute. I loved his work. Like he did other characters on Power Rangers. It was Sensei, it was Lothar, and then he played. And for another franchise, he played another character where I think he was. I think he was a monk actually, and then they went to a planet.
He's worked a lot. Oh, Grant, when he was alive, worked a lot. He was really well respected and a really lovely man. I was so sad when he passed away.
Same here, like, and to this day, like, he's like Carol Hoyt. Like, Carol Hoyt played Divatox and Demetrius, so it was cool to see that dynamic again, where like it's the same guy playing both the hero and the villain.
And the villain, yeah.
And
Grant's a very talented man. He would have done so well in conventions, and just like a really beautiful man. You wanted to know him. He was a great guy.
that was the voices he did for. I mean, well, Lothar, I know that's not like his real voice, but was the voice he used for the sensei, was that his real voice, or was that just something for the show?
Very close to his real voice. His real voice was quite gentle and warm, but he had a wicked sense of humor. Wicked sense of humor.
I always wanted it, like, much like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, Power Ranger cast members I always wanted to meet at conventions. You're definitely one of them, because I mean, growing up, I mean, I shared the story many times. Me and my cousin, I mean, he was like the Myra, I was the Capri, because there were so many similarities. We were like the comedic duo, like, you know, like when he would do something, I would just feed off him, or vice versa. Like, just kind of like how you and Katrina would feed off each other. Like, I think Katrina like said something like, it was so funny though, but it came off really bad. Like, where it was the episode where she tricked Dustin in the episode, like, to like him.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And it's like, it's not my fault. He's dumber than me.
It's not my fault he's dumber than me. Yeah.
Like, I was like laughing at that, and much like, you know, because like you were always like in that duo, you came off like the leader of like the duo, like, or like the more straight, like level-headed one.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
It was like
I was vaguely more together than Mara was, but just a little bit more manipulative and a little bit more, a little bit harder, while still being good.
Now, Kat, you are definitely, like, as Capri, you are definitely a master of disguise in Ninja Storm. Did you have a favorite disguise?
Oh gosh, what did I love doing? I loved all my disguise. I just honestly just love getting to a script reading and going, cool, I get to do all of these things. I actually really loved being Punk. That was a cool outfit. Katrina, there was a time that we were like the world champion Irish dancers, or whatever we were. And Katrina actually was an Irish dancer. She's from Ireland, and she actually was an Irish dancer, so she can jig. I couldn't jig. We had lessons, and I just couldn't do it. So you'll notice when they film it, you just see me doing this. They only shot me from here, just jigging, because my feet I had no idea. I was so uncoordinated, but those costumes were fun. I actually really liked the schoolgirl costume too. I thought that was just the more the better. I love the braces. I loved, yeah, I really love the disguises.
Wait, how did they put the braces in?
So I actually went to a dentist, and they did molds of my mouth, and I wore it as a plate, but it was full railway tracks, but I wore them as a plate. So it was completely, I still have them somewhere, just fitted.
So they were removable?
Yeah. So it looked like they were on my teeth, but it actually just was a full plate that went in. It was shaped to my mouth. It was amazing.
Oh, okay. The reason I asked is because I had, around the time Ninja Storm came out, I had braces from 2003 to 2006. That's why I was, had that question.
Ah, yeah, no, they were ones that were just coming in and out.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite disguises, of course, will always be, well, definitely what you were in I Love Lothar. I love the mohawk. I thought that
it was cool.
I also love the granny attire, because it was like a cool, like, you know, child story with a dark twist to it. It's like, oh, what big eyes you have, or what great big nose you have, and then all of a sudden, Slob Goblin comes and just totally annihilates Blake.
Yeah. I actually also liked, dressing up as a man too. That was fun. With my short hair and my moustache, and yeah, I thought that was fun.
What about how'd you feel about the talent show one, where you had like the microphone right here, like, and you were performing for Totally Talented?
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool, because that was the most normal we'd been. We had like just hats or caps and jeans and a t-shirt. Like, it was quite a normal for us. But loads of fun.
What about the ninja attire? Like, that was a good attire too.
Yeah, it felt really funny putting that on. It's like, oh my god, I'm a ninja. I'm a ninja.
I remember because I saw like clips, and I'll send you a link to it, like after this interview, like of MorphCon 2018, where it was all the villains together. You and Kat were part of it. Melody was part of it. Vernon was part of it. Adelaide was part of it. Hillary, Carla, Patrick, who played the Psycho Ranger. And I remember one question a fan asked was, did you like playing the bad guy, good guy? And then I think one of you, I don't know who said it, but it was you or Katrina, where you said, well, it was nice not to look like Mickey Mouse on acid for a while.
That's right. Mickey Mouse on acid. I think that was a Katrina line. Yeah. That was good.
I just loved, I mean, like that whole interview though, like that you did was so awesome though. Like at the
That was a fun panel.
Morphicon, it was like so cool. Like this year for me is definitely like year of the Power Rangers, because this year I actually met a lot of like former Rangers at this there was an event before the whole COVID thing happened in Brooklyn called PowCon, and there was stuff. I mean, there was Power Rangers there. I mean, Justin Nimmo was there.
Justin's a good friend of mine.
He's awesome. Roger Valesco was there. Steve Carderas, Rocky. I don't know how to pronounce it. He was there. Who else was there? Christopher Lee, Kyoman Lee. He was there, who played Andros, was there. And it was so cool. I'm like thinking to myself, man, I wish like, you know, I wish my good friend, like two of my good friends, like I wish Amy Roll, who played Trakeena, was here. I wish Kat Brown was here. I wish, you know, Katrina Browne, because I grew up watching them and like being huge fans of them like back in the day. Like, and one thing that you and like Amy Roll have in common though is like what you, Kate Sheldon, and Katrina Devine have in common is like you, all four of you made playing the villain look really cool, and also like you guys did a great job, not only like making being cool to play a bad guy, but also making it funny too, because like all four of you were very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I mean, with Myra Capri with their, you know, back and forth, it's like like they're back and forth like as, you know, like a Valley Girl, like the talk is so funny. It's like you could like show up like in a battle with, you know, like you could have like a standoff with the Power Rangers between yourself, Lothar, and the Power Rangers, and I could see Katrina and I mean you and Katrina going like coolest entrant is gonna destroy the Power Rangers type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, I have like 100 reasons why, you know, you and Katrina Browne were, you know, criminally underrated, and yes, pun intended. No, but
Clever.
I love the you know, the duo, like, because there's so many dynamics in Power Rangers. Like I mentioned before, you had father daughter, you had brother sister, you have in that series. It's actually, and this is what, you know, is really cool, is that Katrina, like you and Myra, Katrina, pardon me, sorry, that, you know, you have, yes, the uncle and niece dynamic, but you also have the sister dynamic, which I don't think we ever had.
Ah, okay, right.
Because I don't think we ever had like
As villains.
like as villains, two villain sisters.
Mm.
And it was cool because it's like it's believable too, because there's like sisters that act like Myra and Capri, like, but it's like that's what I liked about Myra and Capri, that it's like they weren't just evil, like, you know, villainous, like you know, sisters, but they're realistic too. Like we can relate to them. It's like we're watching them. It's like, hey, I can relate to this.
Yeah, well, that's what we were hoping for. So I'm glad it came across that way.
I gotta get your opinion though, because I did like your reaction though when you destroyed Shimatsu with one flick of the orb, like when you did this to Shimatsu, and then when you picked up his glasses, he's like, "Sheesh," like but that doing that episode, what was it like?
That particular episode, gosh, it's so hard because there were so many episodes that we filmed, and we would film a couple at the same time. So even though, say, if we might have filmed episode 24 and 25 at the same time, so and it was all shot out of order. So it was always lovely to get to watch it back on the daily rushes or something, because you don't shoot it in order, and we were shooting different episodes at the same time, so you'd be well ahead and then jumping back, and it was actually quite confusing. So I never really got to think about what was massively going on in that moment. So when you ask that, I'm kind of like, what was I thinking? Probably I was thinking, my goodness, I've got 6 other scenes to do today, and I'm not going to finish work until like 11 o'clock. But yeah, it's hard when you shoot out of sequence and things like that.
I see. And I asked this question before in one of my previous interviews with Amy Roll, who played Trakeena, like in the series, because, you know, you're not able to see, like, you know, who's behind the Chubu or the Zergate or the Kelzex. Like, was it difficult, like, because, or like she mentioned, like, in the Lost Galaxy series, like, where, like, they would have these actors in the suits, but then they would dub the voices, like, of the characters, like, later on. Did you guys have the same thing in Ninja Storm?
Yeah, we did. So Chubu was played by a guy called Daniel Andrews, who was actually, he might have been the head stunty. He was one of the head stunty guys, but he actually played Chubu as well. But it wasn't his voice that was Chubu. So yeah, same things. That in ADR, the voice actors would come in and voice over.
Now was
Yeah.
now you said that Ninja Storm was filmed in New Zealand, right?
Yes.
Was Xena also filmed in New Zealand or no?
Uh-huh. Xena and her also in New Zealand. Really close studios. Some of the same studios, actually, yeah.
Oh, okay. And was Dino Thunder 2 was filmed in New Zealand, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because I think at some point they started filming all Power Ranger production in New Zealand. I could be wrong on that one.
Yeah, no, they did. So that was then. So mine was the first episode, first series, and it's still here. And they start again in September next month.
I can't wait to watch that. Like, don't you think, Kat, that because they had this episode called Forever Red, where it was all the Red Rangers. Don't you think that they should have had like a Forever Villains, where like for one time only you get Myra, Capri, like the late. I mean, like they should have had an episode where it was the late, like Myra, Capri, the late great Grant McFarlane come back to Lothar. Mesogog, Lord Zed, Rita, just to come back, just to try to take over.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? It would go really well. Maybe maybe they will at some point. I think they've been. There was talks about. There was actually talks for Katrina and I to get our own spin-off. They were going to do a spin-off series of Mara and Capri.
Oh, cool!
Completely, yeah. So they Disney really looked at it because they were well-loved characters, and we were having a great time, and so they actually said, look, would you girls consider doing your own? And we were like, yes, but it never came off. But
I'd love to see a Myra Capri show, because the two were, I mean, like I said, or like many times, like how you and Katrina are just two comic geniuses. Like the way you come up with your lines and deliveries, it's just incredible. It's like real too. It doesn't come off as acting. It's like natural. Like you and her have that natural charisma. Like how you like say stuff. It comes off like real. Like it's not like you're reading from a script or anything.
No, because we were just making it up on the spot, so we weren't reading it from the script. No, but a great natural rapport and really fun bouncing off each other.
I liked also like where like, and this is what I got to ask you too, like for the Dino Thunder episode, when you filmed in Mesogog's lair, Latham's, like I believe the gentleman's name is Latham, who played Mesogog. When you did that scene where, like, I think I showed you this, where it was like before Lothar sent you guys down, like to go and like at the very end of part 2, like that ship though, like that headquarters of Mesogog, what was that? Was that a sound stage? Like how was that filmed?
Just trying to remember. So is that Latham Gaines' character? Was that who he was? Ah, right. He's a lovely guy. I'm trying to remember what that was. It was its own lair. Yeah, it was its own layer on set in the same, right beside, it was actually built right beside the spaceship, local ship.
But what about the scene where you go back to Earth and like when Lothar says, go down and do some of that, that stuff that you did, and then he zapped you guys back to Earth, and then how did they do that scene where you come like descending from the descended from the quarantine, what's it called, the quarry?
It's all just CGI. That's all just smoke and mirrors and tricks. So we did a lot, and even we did a lot of what they call jumping in and out. So when that stuff was happening, when you had to land on the ground, as in you would literally have to stand there and jump up in the air, and then jump down, and that's what they would use to cut from, and then bring in the special effects from that point.
Oh, cool. And definitely one thing I liked about Myra Capri is like their deliveries are just so priceless. Like Lothar could say, okay, who wants to go down there and destroy the Rangers? And then I could see Capri going like, oh, me, this person right here. This one right here. I do. Yeah. It's so funny though. Like, I mean, I go like watching back, like, watching these episodes again makes me like feel like I'm 13 again, like watching them, because I just have so many great memories of like Ninja Storm though. Like, and definitely you and Katrina are definitely part of that because of how funny your quirks were. Like how, like you always had such great delivery. Like even like if it was like anti like Lothar, anti Rangers, it still comes off really funny.
Yeah, thank you. We had such a brilliant time.
And like I can name like my top 3 favorite I mean, because Capri has so many great lines. My top three will always be, and this is gonna be my next question for you. Like, if you can name some of your favorite Capri moments in in a Capri fashion, if that's okay with you, because definitely a huge fan as Capri. But my top three will always be in no particular order. Like your delivery on "Please, flying is so passe. Let's talk size." And then
Yeah.
that's one of them. Another one is when he said, like I mentioned earlier, "Hey, Sensei, you should really quit, stop eating
Lay off on the cookies. Yeah.
lay off the cookies with your afternoon tea."
Yeah,
And
that
then
was cool.
another one would have to be what was that one told? Like it's oh please, like how you and Katrina were like, it wasn't a line, but it was like how you guys delivered it. It was like when you were complaining about like how like you wanted a high school reunion and then Lothar wasn't giving it to you.
Yeah, so much fun. I like the line that I said to Zergain at one point, I don't know which episode. She's like, for someone who doesn't even have a mouth, you surely talk a lot. She was just really, you don't even have a mouth. But yeah, like I said, we made a lot of the stuff up on the spot. And Katrina and I would just be looking at each other, and we were just, and the cameras are rolling, and they just keep it rolling, and we would carry on and on and on and on, and eventually somebody would yell cut, and they would go, "That's really funny, we'll just keep it." I'm like, okay, cool. And a lot of that.
I did like, Hela's lines, because Hela also has some really good lines in Hercules. Like one of my favorite will always be like when like you see him and then you're like, "Please don't patronize me, Hercules."
Oh, please don't patronize me. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, when she's sitting on that. Oh, yeah.
I remember that, and I remember also like in the episode where, like I mentioned earlier, like how she said to Hercules, in a true villain fashion, like, "Be careful what you wish for, Hercules, because I might just use your words against you."
That's good. Yeah, yeah.
It's so many great lines, like so many great memories from both shows. Like definitely, this is why, Kat, that you are definitely not only underrated, criminally underrated. Again, pun intended, but the fact that you could play 5 characters in 2 franchises is just incredible.
Thank you. So much fun. So lucky.
Anytime, and even like playing as Capri, like you could tell like when someone's reading a script. Like sometimes people can read off a script, but when you and Katrina would go, it felt like all natural because you were just improvising everything.
Yeah, well, it was all natural. It was literally, especially, it was a couple of episodes into the thing, we realized that we could do this well, and we worked well off each other, and we spoke to the producers, and they said, yeah, you guys just go for gold, do whatever you like, within reason, but we, and we knew the characters so well, and so we just had a heck of a lot of fun. And so Katrina and I actually, we hung out together outside. So outside of filming, we would hang out every night. We're best mates. We'd go out. We're each other's best friends. So we would go out at nighttime, then come up in the morning and go back to work, and then go out for dinner the next night. And like we just hung out the whole time.
It sounds like a friendship that's not only on screen but off screen too. Like you portrayed like sisters. Like you were really sisters. Like, but in the end of the day, you were like very close friends in real life.
As about as close as you can get, yeah.
And I just love, the theme song. Like every Power Ranger theme song has a unique to it. Ninja Storm was always like, I still remember to this day, the Ninja Storm was like, "Power Rangers go, Ninjas go,
let's go." Yeah, yeah.
And I get to see like, like anything Myra Capri ever did, like I always put more to the thing. Like, yeah, we have the Rangers, but the Rangers are not funny. Like I want to have a show where I can like be entertained or like. And like, and Myra Capri definitely gave that entertainment aspect to it.
Yes.
And I was so invested. Like, and here's the thing, like, because I like haven't watched like Power Rangers in a long time, but my cousin introduced me to Ninja Storm, which was cool because like I got to see like, and that's what made me like rewatch like the series again. I actually would always binge watch it when I had Netflix. I would always binge watch Ninja Storm.
Yeah. I've not actually watched all the episodes yet, so I'll get onto that.
Okay. Like, I hope you like the DVD though I made for you. Like,
thank you so much. I can't wait to get those.
I threw in a bonus for you, your husband, and your kids. Like that way you just it's not only Dino Thunders, but you'll have the In Space, Lost Galaxy, I believe is in there, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force.
That's really cool. Thank you so much.
Anytime. And no, but I just, Ninja Storm will definitely have a special place in my heart because, it was like, given the fact that not only was I a Ninja Storm fan, but the fact that me and my cousin were like Myra and Capri, like if we were like younger versions of them, like like how you were with Katrina, like you were like the sister was like, okay, like she's a little ditzy, but let me try to get her back into being evil, like
Yes.
because like Capri was always like at least like there was one episode where Myra like was with she had a crush on Dustin, like there was like that soft spot that Myra had, but Capri she didn't turn fully good until the last episode.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's always nice to end up as a ranger and ninja, but I would have liked to have stayed evil. Not that many, yeah, I would have quite liked to have just stayed evil.
And also, not only were they genius, that Myra and Capri were comic geniuses, but they were also scientific geniuses because didn't they create some monsters though for Lothar? I think one of them was, I could be wrong there, but I think Beevil was one of them, or Footzilla.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that with the Pam? Was that with the personal alien manager? Yeah, they created Beevil.
They created Beevil and Footzilla because I remember it was like literally it was just
yes.
It was like a monster with the shape of a foot. I remember, and then Lothar was like, "What is his or her powers?"
I miss Grant, such a lovely man.
I do too. Like him, Pua, like I wish I got to meet those gentlemen. Like and like if I ever go to like a power convention though, like there's one in Brooklyn though. Like there's always there. I'd love to one day if you ever go to that, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to meet Amy. I'd love to meet Vernon. Like all those, like because I grew up
I'd love to go. I've never been to New York. I would love to go to one of those ones. So happily be there.
it would be such an honor to meet you though, because I've been a fan of yours since I was 13. Like, and younger if you want to count Hercules though. But as Capri, I was a fan of Capri when I was 13 because Ninja Storm came out when I was 13. But Hercules, what was the year Hercules came out?
Oh gosh, well I did 6. They did 6 seasons. So I think the first time that I did Hercules, I was 20. I was 20 or 21. So 24 years ago, I was doing that.
Okay.
Which made you very young.
I was born in I was born in 1990.
Oh, you're a baby.
Yeah. But you know what? Like a kid, and if I was there at that convention, I'll be honest with you, Kat. Like if I was at that convention in 2018, the first things before I would ask my question would be, first off, before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you on in the panel because of all those memories you gave me as a kid. Like I grew up watching Myra and Capri. As a 13-year-old, I was watching Myra and Capri. As an 8-year-old, I was watching Melody as astronomer. I was watching Vernon when I was 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, you don't stop to think about that. But that's the lovely part about going to conventions is that you meet people like yourself, and you realize that you actually played a part of their childhood, and it's a privilege. It's a privilege for me. You say you're a fan of me, well, I'm now a fan of you, so it's a good thing.
No, definitely, I'm a huge fan, and it's not just Power Rangers. It's like I want to see Shortland Street. I really do, but I wasn't able to watch it because because I didn't have any way to watch it. But with Hercules, that was on, I believe, WB. I had a Ninja Storm, and me and my cousin would always joke you know what? I think we're like Myra and Capri. Like I would tell my cousin because, let's see, you're shorter and you're younger. I like Myra, and I'm older and taller like Capri.
Yeah.
Back then I also had blonde hair. I mean, I don't have it anymore, but
neither.
And I also just so cool. And I had to show you that even the Japanese counterpart, they really made Capri look like this unstoppable force. They really made Capri look very powerful. In that clip I showed you, I think they're called Hercules. I think that's the name of Ninja Storm's.
Hercules, yeah.
And I've never seen in my entire life where they showed Capri and I don't know how she grew, but I guess maybe because she got so mad. Whenever she gets so mad in the Japanese counterpart, she grows to giant-sized proportions, and she annihilated both the Ninja Ranger, Ninja Storm, Megazord, and the what was Blake and Hunter's Megazord?
Don't know.
That's okay. But I remember she literally, like, the Capri in the Japanese counterpart, like, this is what makes the Capri character look thing. She literally lifted the Megazord up with no problem at all,
Yeah.
and threw it into the Megazord. And I thought that was really cool, like, that they made Capri not only look like a comical, like, you know, relief, but they also made her like a dominant powerhouse.
Yeah, she was an amazing character. Such a privilege to get to play such a cool character.
And she's also, like, relatable, like her personality is like something we can live with, like, every day. Like, hey, her personality is just like mine. Like, you know, it's like, you know, we want to have fun too, but come on, let's be real here. Like, not everything is about world domination. Like, look, can we at least go to a fashion show before we become Rangers?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I loved about Myra Capri. Like, and also, I think on my Instagram page, I did, like, you know, a shout out to all the like villains. I definitely gave you a shout out, like, on this one. I got on Instagram, it was all the villains. Like, you were in it, Katrina was in it, Vernon was in it, Amy was in it, like every Power Ranger villain you can imagine, from Mighty Morphin to Dino Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah, but and I definitely gave you a shout out because I thought, I always thought, like, you know, Capri, maybe because, like, back then, like, I saw, like, similarities between Capri and I mean, I'm not a villain, of course. Kat?
Yeah, no, my battery's running out. That's all it
okay.
said. No battery.
Okay, we could, I was gonna say that you want to, like, we can conclude now if your battery's running low.
It is running low, and also my children I can see my children coming down the driveway, so it's going to get really noisy.
Two things before we conclude here. First of all, let me just say that it is not only an honor and privilege to have you on, like, to do this interview with you, because this is like a childhood dream for me, because I was such a huge Capri fan. I said, because in junior high, you know, it was a difficult time because it was like a time, like, where, like, kids were, like, hazing and bullying, and I was bullied. And I just thought about, like, how, like, you know, in some aspects, like, Capri and Myra's, you know, personalities indirectly, like, you know, made me want to, like, stand up for myself.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I was bullied in school too, so I get it. And I actually, one of the loveliest parts is going to conventions and meeting people say that gave them strength. I mean,
it's an inspiration thing.
Yeah, but I find it really inspiring for when people come up to me at a convention and they share their story. I find that inspiring when they say, you know what, I've had a really difficult time and I get really anxious, and I'm like, yeah, you're a superhero. It's you guys can come in if you like.
And also, Kat, before we go, because this is an open forum, you could say anything you want. Like, the floor is yours. You could talk about anything you want, like promote, hype, or just anything in general. This is like an open forum. Talk about anything you like.
Thanks, sweet. No, I just want to say thank you to you for having me, and in advance for the CDs to come. And I just want to say, I think in this time of the world, can you go away, sweetheart? Do you have to stand right there? Oh, children. I think at this time of the world, it's really important that we're kind to each other.
Cool. And
so be kind.
Awesome. And before you go, Kat, I do want to say that it was not only an honor, like, I just want to thank you for coming on. And not only was it an honor, but I'm very proud and honored to call you my friend. I'm very honored, and I take that with such honor, like, in such, like, honor and respect about that.
You're so welcome.
You'll always have my loyalty as a friend and fan. And can I get one last Capri, like, anything Capri would say? Like, this is me talking to Capri right now. Anything Capri would like to say?
What if you were talking to Capri right now? She'd probably be like, you have no idea because my kids are here and they see, they're here. Oh. Capri would right now be a little bit pissed that she's got no space and her children have come back to hijack her interview. But look, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and I will meet you.
I would love that.
You must get Katrina on as well.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for the autographs. And I want to say, thank you for the autographs. And I want to say thank you for all the childhood memories. Thank you for coming on the show. And just thank you, and not to sound like a golden girl, but thank you for being a friend.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you for being a friend too. I really appreciate it.
Take care. And I'm gonna send this DVD out right away Monday morning.
Thank you. I'll message you after this. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure and honor.
Right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.